Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, student. Welcome to our second meeting on the introduction to political science. This is the topic that we discussed last week. Uh, and today I will continue the topic because there are several uh, item and slide that should be continued today. Uh, okay. Uh, Last week we discussed on what is the meaning of politics. So in the first meeting, we try to understand what is politics. There are political science and also politics as an art, the art of politics. Okay, last week we discussed the original meaning of politic. And as a review, I will say that originally the term of politic came from Greek culture. It's part of Greek culture. Polis and Thaya. The polis mean city-state and Thaya mean affair or business. So if somebody talk about politics, really it is related to the government affairs. So it's related to the state affairs. And now we can understand about politics is not only like this, but more complex. Politics is all about state affairs, yes, but included how power is competed, how power is managed, how power is institutionalized, maintained, and sometimes also manipulated. And then the most popular meaning of politic in international relation, uh, politic in international relation understood as struggle for power. It is under realism perspective. Uh, Last week, I introduced you the most influential scientist in the international relation. He was Hans J. Morgenthau. His book, Politics Among Nations, it's like the Bible of international relation science. So you should read this book because inside the book explain about what is power in international politics. Morgenthau stated that in international relation or politics, uh, politics is a power, but not a passive power. It is active power. What's the meaning of active power? Uh, there is a dynamism in the struggle for power inside. So politics is struggle for power, or politics is the dynamism of power itself. So if politics understood as a passive power, it means just as nothing will change about the power or the politic. But in international relation, uh, the meaning of politic is power in active or in dynamism, in active meaning, struggle for power. Nowadays, political science uh, understood more wider than before. Political science is the systematic study of allocation and transfer of power in the decision-making process. It is also charged with the studying the provinces of public affair and institution. So, politic may be domestic politic, also international politic. Uh, our discipline today, we in international relation, but it is important for us, firstly, to understand what is the domestic politic. Okay, Harold as well stated that the other dimension of politics means who gets what, when, and how. Who gets what, when, and how. It is more in political practices, the real politic, such as Pilkada in Indonesia, election, a local election, both a governor or maybe a major election and presidential election. And also about uh, how someone win the the race in election is also politic. Yeah. So politic in domestic dimension, it's more who gets what, when, and how under Harold de Laswell perspective. David Easton uh, gave us more perspective on politique. He stated that, yeah, one side or one perspective of the meaning of politics is about allocation and distribution of values and source. Allocation and distribution of values and source. So allocation or distribution is not only source or something material, but also values. Values like justice, for example, it is also should be allocated fairly. Uh, so if we want to understand politics here, uh, there is enlargement from the original meaning to the modern meaning of politics. So today, politics is a very complex dimension to be understood. And if you want to explain politics, absolutely you should make limitation politic on what side or in what perspective. Because if you want to explain international politics, uh, it is not adequate if you uh, use the diction or concept in a domestic politics. Uh, Conversely, if you want to discuss on uh, domestic politics, absolutely you should change your diction to the domestic politics, because sometimes we need adjustment how to use a term in politics. Okay, but uh, several principles on uh, political science, both internationally and domestically, uh, agreed by the scientists that, yeah, politics is about the power. You know, all scientists agree with this. Politics related to allocation and distribution of source and values. Yes, every scientist in politics agree about this. So there is some principle that we should understood well about this concept. Okay, this is the origin of the political thought. Uh, it is before Christ and until today. As I mentioned in the beginning of this lecture, that uh, yeah, this since Greek like Herodotus, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and the other philosopher, as I mentioned in the beginning of this subject. And secondly, about the Indian 5th century before Greece, there was an old book, not only one but several. Like the book of Dharma Sastra and also Artha Sastra. Both book talk about politics, yeah, about how state should be governed, how a leader or political leader should do or not to do something. So It is very valuable book and politics at that time. In China, also 5th century before Greece, we met Confucianism, Confucius or Confucius, and also Tao. Uh, there are many teaching on how to govern state. In Arabic world, we meet in after Christ in 11th century. We meet the book of Al-Mawardi. The book name is Al-Ahkam As-Sultaniyah, and the other book. If you talk about the politic in Islamic perspective, you will meet this book. Absolutely, you should read this book because it is a comprehensive book. And in Indonesia, in 13th until 18th century, 13th until 18th century, there are many books, old book, how to govern something. For example, Negara Kertagama. It is very, very old book in Indonesia, but how to govern a good governance or government in Majapahit at that time. Also, the book of Wulang Reh in Pakubuwono IV, the book of Centini, the book of Widotomo. What is the meaning of Wulang Reh, for example? Wulang means teaching. Reh means govern something or order something. So Wulang Reh mean how to govern something. There are many values and also rules how to govern kingship system at that time. Okay, that's all in the beginning of the political thoughts. In the modern era, in the 18th and 19th century, in Germany, in Austria, in France, also came up the political discourse. But at that time, there is no political science as an independent studies. At the time, politics as a part of what law, a part of law discipline. So we meet the political discourse in law subject at that time. In France, 1870, came up the École Libraire Sciences as the first political community that discuss politics as a new discipline. Yeah, at that time. In UK, 1895, established London School of Economic and Political Science. Yeah, until today. So if you see the London School, in international relation, you will meet the London School theory as a middle ring theory on international theory perspective. Yeah. The institution of London School of Economic and Political Science, it is the old institution as a part of politics as a new discipline came up from this institution. So London School is a very old institution. Uh, in United States in 1858, Francis Lieber, someone said Francois Lieber, commemorate as professor in political science and history. So Francis Lieber as the first professor in politics. So politics as a science formally count from the inauguration of Francis Lieber as a professor in 1858. So really, political science is a new thing compared with sociology, anthropology, law. It's very old. Okay, so until today, in Columbia College, uh, established American Political Science Association, APSA, yeah, until today. Yeah, I one of the member of the APSA. And after World War II, after the establishment of United Nations, part of United Nations institution, the name is UNESCO, United Nations Economic Social Cooperation in this board, publish a contemporary political science. So they publish book. The title of the book is Contemporary Political Science. Inside this book, uh, try to make more uh, definition about politics. Why this book try to make more detail on politics? Because of the result of the discussion that the emerge of World War One and World War Two, because of the fail of political science to understand what is politics. So political science as suspected object at that time. Suspected, tertuduh, tersangka. Why? Because you fail to understand political behavior, because you fail to to make a good formula to create peace. So what happened in the world at that time? World War One and World War Two. So it's emerged because of the fail of the political science, how to predict and how to compose, how to arrange peace. That is why United Nations tried to make more clear about the political science scope and objective at that time in 1948. Okay, this is the several philosopher from Greece, Plato, and also Aristotle, Socrates, and yeah, it is several several influential person in political thought. This was Kautilya. Yeah, Kautilya. You will meet again Kautilya in diplomacy because Kautilya not only political science, but he was a philosopher, and also he was the prime minister in Emperor Chandragupta at that time, 4th century before Christ. So this is very old. Kautilya or Chanakya, the young name is Chanakya. And when he was a prime minister, the name is Kautilya. He was a professor in Taxila University, or Taxila. He established a university. Before Christ, please remember, it happened before Christ. He also arranged a book, Arta Sastra. It's not only politics in domestic, but also politics in international politics. This is China. China, you see the Confucius, a very wise person. There are 100 school of thought from Confucius. We can read the translated book until today. One of the teaching from Confucius is, if you want to be rich, please remember, if you want to be rich, firstly, you should create a road. If you want to be rich, firstly, you should create a road or make a road. You can understand this from the ancient until today. You know, today there is one belt, one road from China government, one belt, one road, really Confucian teaching. If you want to be rich, firstly, you should make road. That is why China's government today make obor. It's one side, yeah, one side, or one reason. This is in Arabic. In Arabic word, you met Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun. In 4th century, he was a North African historiographer and historian. He is claimed as a forerunner of the modern discipline of sociology and demography. Uh, he was best known for his book, the Muqaddimah or Prolegomena or Introduction. Part of this book, Prolegomena, is very popular in this book until today. He tried to he tried to predict. He composed a theory that the life of a kingship system or a state really like a wheel. There is a rotation from birth, growth, and until victory and decrease and collapse. So, and after collapse will emerge again a new successor, a new state. So, birth, development, victory, decrease, collapse, and rebirth. This like chakra, like wheel. This very popular theory from Ibn Khaldun. Or in Japanese verb, it is like chokro manggilingan, like this. This is the UNESCO or United Nations composition on political science. It is the main idea in contemporary political science published by United Nations in 1948 that political science consists of several discussion. Firstly, a political theory. Political theory. So, if you want to understand political science, you should learn about political theory and also the history of the thoughts or ideas, political ideas. Secondly, about the political institution and government. So if you want to understand politics, you should learn about political institution and government. Yeah, there's a constitution, national government, local government, and also a comparative political institution among the countries. The third, politics also consists of study in political party, interest group, pressure group, and also public opinion. So, if you want to know a politics, you should learn about political party, general election system. Don't forget about this. There is no political party if there is no general election. So you should understand what is general election mechanism, because there is no copy paste general election mechanism among the countries. Okay, there is proportional and also district system, but there is no couple country that the mechanism in general election is the same 100%. No, every country create their own general election system. Okay, and number four, ah, this is kind of a new remedy in peace, because international relations studies emerged strongly after this book published by United Nations. If you want to understand politics in international side, you should learn about international relation. Inside the international relation, our department is international relation, you should learn about the international politics. International politics, how state actor and non-state actor interact each other, and to construct political dynamism in international or global politics. You should understand about this. We will learn in our subject next. Secondly, we should learn about organization and administration in international level. So international organization and administration is very important for you to understand, because they have a influential role to construct international politic or global politic. And the most important in international relations, you should understand about international law, agreement, treaty, because basically international relation run under anarchy system. If there is no international law or agreement, you can imagine how hard and how anarchy the international politics. To make international order, to create peace, to maintain peace, we should understand and obey on international law. Yeah, we will learn in the semester two, I think. Yeah, semester two and three. Okay, this is the second part of uh, topic in week one, and we can understand more in discussion. See you in discussion.